All right, coming up on today's edition of the Art Marketing Podcast, I'm back with another artist interview, and I've got the very talented multi-threat artist, which is Kristin Harvey here today. And I even wrote an intro for her, which I just was telling her about off stage, which is me getting my ducks in a row and getting my process a little bit more refined. So I welcome Kristin Harvey, a vibrant abstract expressionist artist based in Tubac. Did I get it right? Tubac?
Yeah, Tubac.
Yeah.
Tubac.
Tubac. All right, so I got it wrong. Tubac, Arizona. You guys, she's known for her bold use of color and intuitive painting style. And she, I would say, creates work that bridges the gap between abstract and representational art. And it's often featuring Southwest landscapes and mystical ravens and explosive florals. And her color palette, at least what she has online, is like so on Southwestern brand, which I love. Her artistic journey has taken her from children's book illustration to video game design for Sega, which we were talking about offline. We're definitely getting into that. And teaching sold out intuitive painting workshops, which I love. So her work's represented in galleries. And she really has like an attitude, a vibe, a brand, you will, it comes through on her social media, and especially. So I want to talk to her about that, which is going to be really, really exciting. So Kristin, big picture, welcome to the show. Welcome to the show, my fellow Californian as well, because I found out she's from Fresno, and we were just talking about California a little bit offline, but welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. And thank you for having me here. I'm really excited about chatting with you.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was asking her offline because, our storefronts has grown quite a bit as a company, and it's no longer the early days where I know everyone, but you've been around for a couple of years already.
Yes, a few years. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's funny because before we got started, she's like, I'm bad with dates. And I was like, oh my God, does she know how bad I am with dates? I mean, I can't remember anything. And don't tell anyone this, but I don't even know the exact birthday of my second child, as I just don't. I just don't have a mind for dates. It's like bad. It's bad. But I'm really excited to get into things. If you feel like the intro covered it, if you got something else as an intro, who you are, what do you do, throw that out there, and then we'll start diving into the various different aspects.
Yeah, I just add one thing as a little bridge between my video game experience and going full-time artist painting. I did spend time as user experience designer. Before I left Sega, I had the chance to design their first website for Sega of America. Amazing. And I went through that experience with simple text. So I learned HTML, and that evolved into user experience over the years.
Wow. Just out of curiosity, do you still leverage that skill set at all? Or are you like just done with code and design in that capacity?
No, I have to. Everything that I learned, I mean, I was on the design side, so it was more in touch with marketing. So I'm very happy with my experience and what it brings to me when I'm working with my art storefront site.
Oh, that's amazing. I mean, that's like, it's such a you're such a unicorn in that capacity, because so few artists have like a deep background in the tech side of things, right? I mean, you were writing HTML, for God's sakes. I mean, that's amazing. And it's funny, she and I were talking. I don't know how old you guys are that are watching this, but Sega was a huge part of my childhood. That was a extremely sought after gaming console way back in the day. I don't even think like the new generation, aside from like what Sonic became a movie,
Yes.
the flashes like on the screen ahead of time, which is amazing. One question I always love to ask: when did it transition from day job to paying the bills being an artist?
In 2022, September of 2022.
Wow.
It was a long journey, that's for sure. But in 2022, I finally balanced the scales enough, or tipped the scales enough to actually quit my corporate design job. And I needed more flexibility in my life as well. So it was perfect timing.
When did you, just out of curiosity, when did you leave California for Arizona?
Oh, gosh. Well, I left California for Rochester, New York first. So after my video game experience, I was looking for a big change and moved across the country. And I, believe it or not, started working at a cross-stitch design company, which at the time had very similar software to video game software back in the day. So I did that there. And then my family, in the meantime, had retired out here to Arizona from Fresno. My father got sick, and we wanted to come out here and help my folks. And so we love it so much. We have stayed, and I think we'll be here for a long, long time.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, we love the Southwest. Beautiful, beautiful country. So
Yes.
even during your career, when your day job was let's call art adjacent, obviously.
Mhm.
Were you a working artist that entire time? Were you creating pieces and attempting to sell them on the side and when you could and everything else?
Yes, absolutely. There was a probably 5 to 6 year crossover period where I
Hmm.
was doing both full time.
Oh
It
wow.
wasn't easy, and I started out with farmers markets here
Hmm.
locally
Hmm.
to get my paintings out there, but I was doing both full time. It was absolutely exhausting, but I knew what I was driving towards, and that was the light at the end of the tunnel for me. It was worth it. Everything was worth it.
I love hearing say that. I mean, I so encourage, like, we're art storefronts. We get pigeonholed as a digital brand, sell online and passive income and all of that. But, I've long said on this podcast, like, what is the best way to sell art? In person, face to face, always has
Yeah.
been, always will be. That's never going away. What is the easiest way to do it? Get into a farmer's market just to give it teeth. Like,
Yeah.
what would you normally have to pay to get a booth at that farmer's market?
Actually, it was just $20 to start
$20.
because yes.
$20. Yes. And you
Yeah,
didn't
just for
have
a booth.
fancy walls or all this roll-in stuff. I'm sure you had a simple tent tarp thing and a table, and that was that.
Just a table, actually, and
Yeah.
shutters. I used to hang my art on old shutters that I would put behind me because I didn't even have a grid wall or anything at the time, or a tent. But I live in Arizona, so weather wasn't that big of an issue.
Yeah, it's always warm and sunny. And I'm gonna show off some of your work, here. I mentioned earlier, like, it's amazing to see it in a grid view and how consistent you are on a lot of the colors.
Thank you.
So Southwest vibes. So Southwest vibes. So
Yeah.
you started out doing the farmers markets, and then
Mhm.
probably some shows and fairs, some legit ones that grew from there, I imagine, because that's usually the trajectory.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Green Valley, here where I actually live, has a very large Wednesday market, farmers market that attracts people from all over. So
Mhm,
I started at a smaller local market,
mhm,
and then moved to the Wednesday market. And from there, spread my wings a little bit more and went to Art in the Park at a local park. And
mhm,
then to the next closest park that had Art on the Lake events. I also joined local arts organizations in Tucson to get
mhm,
my name out there.
mhm.
I will say, when it comes to getting my name out there and getting my start, though, my greeting cards is what did it for me.
No way. Tell us about that. I want to hear about that. Greeting
Yeah.
card's amazing.
Yeah. Well, I had a style that was my style has changed quite a bit over the years.
Mhm.
Over the past really 3 years, it took a drastic turn. Maybe we can talk about what that meant to my career and my business as
I would
well
love
for a
to.
while there. But what were we talking about? Greeting cards. Yes. So I started making cards because I wanted to get my art out there.
Mhm.
I made cards for friends at first, and they said, "These are beautiful. You should make more cards." I still, to this day, hand make my cards, even though
Wow.
I'm supplying 3 different stores right now. I do that because I have control over the number of designs that I can disseminate to my clients.
Mhm.
They don't want 100 of one design. They want 5 of one design, and then they want 25 designs. So I'm making in small batches, and I'm making custom orders for shops, but getting my name out there. I have a stamp that I put on the back of my cards. It's very simple, but it has that handmade touch, and it keeps people in touch with me. That's what started people following me. And now my cards are very sought after here in town and up in the foothills where I sell as well. So
Wow.
that's what really got my name out there and started getting me followers.
How are you handling the printing side of that?
I just have an HP printer. There's a little trick that I do in that
Mhm.
I don't print straight onto cardstock because I tried doing that. Cardstock quality when it comes to color does not perform well.
Doesn't
So
hold up. Mm.
yeah, I use a more expensive, a better quality, high quality paper that captures my colors the way I intend them to look.
Mhm.
And then I transfer that, I cut that out and I transfer it to cardstock that way. So they're even heavier
Wow.
duty. And then
Wow.
I cellophane each card as well. So it takes its toll. I
Yeah.
could branch out on that if I wanted to. And I've thought
Mhm.
about many times starting a card business, but that's not where my passion lies.
Yeah, and I've got people asking what your name is on Instagram. You guys, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just I'm going to at pin her IG handle. So that's in there now. Yeah, I like, one, you obviously have tremendous validation on the cards, and that's amazing. Two, you've got to get yourself out of the manufacturing process of that. You've got to figure out how to get someone to be able to handle that. Because I just heard all of that, and I was like, oh my gosh, she's running a full-blown arts and crafts factory on top of everything else. I know what that entails, right?
Yeah, it's also very meditative too.
for sure. But wow, like the printing, the cutout, then the gluing, and then into the individual cellophane, that's insane. What do you sell them in batches of 25, batches of 50? What?
A typical order is probably about 80 to 100 cards.
Wow. And what do you charge for that?
Yeah, well, I'm still in the $3 wholesale price, because when you sell wholesale, so I make it up in volume. And again, I'm not in the card business to make money necessarily. I'm in there to get my voice out there.
Yeah, that's so smart. It's so smart you said that. You probably haven't heard me rant on this, but like when I rant about pricing and how important pricing is, right? And whenever an artist hears the terror-inducing P word of pricing, right? They immediately think like charging for what they're worth and everything else. And it's not that. It's having a range. And the reason you need a range is because not everyone's ready to buy wall art all the time. And the reason that you need a range is that you need to open yourself up to impulse purchases, right? Like, hey, I just met Kristin. She's got a great attitude. I really like her. I'm not ready to invest $750 on a piece right now, but I am definitely willing to spend $100 on some cards. So at the end of the day, like, it's just advertising.
Yes, absolutely. That's how I treat it. And that's why, I'm not so concerned about the bulk orders. So
no, but I mean, at the same time, why I would argue you do need to be concerned with the bulk orders is because you clearly have validation. You have the product the market wants, and I'm sure you probably can't supply enough of it. And so I would do, worst vice is advice, but what I would do is I would figure out a mass produced option. Okay. And I would have that be my low entry price. And then I would probably raise the price on what you're doing times 2, times 3, and make that like the really boutique-y special 100% by hand, one. That's totally what I would do. Because it seems like you already can't handle the demand, right? So Lord knows, like, the older we get, the less we want to be on the assembly line too. It doesn't take long to be on an assembly line to be like, oh my gosh, get me off of this thing. But I love that you have that in your mind. That's amazing. And the one thing that I would say, and I say this all the time, and it bears repeating, the number of new customers an art business acquires per year is one of the most important metrics that is predictive of the future revenue possibility capability of that business. Okay. And the nuance in that statement, the number of new customers you acquired per year does not have a dollar amount associated with it. A new customer is just a transaction. And the meta of it is you make a transaction, you have someone that has your product, and you have a way to contact them in the future. That's all that matters, right? So the number of new customers you acquire per year, and any artist that's out there, like I bang the drum all the time, you have to have inexpensive non-wall art as a part of the lineup, because when you do, the sheer number of customers that you acquire per year versus like, how many pieces are you selling a year versus how many sets of gift cards? Like you're acquiring hundreds, I'm sure, of additional customers every single solitary year that you can market to because you tick this box. And I always say the same thing. It's like, I've never met a revenue source for artists I don't like as long as it's legal, right? I feel like I can't have enough of them. So the gift cards aside, I want to pivot to when you started teaching. I love that you have this additional revenue source in your business. All over you guys, if we look at her Instagram, like she's not teaching to small audiences here. And some of these things that I see, I mean, you've got a ton of people that are showing up for these things, and it's all over your Instagram. So that I love that you're doing this. So talk to me kind of about the frequency. I'm interested in the frequency and a little bit of the backstory. And then I'm very, very interested in, have you contemplated taking it online and digital and being able to serve a bigger audience and or not? So that's kind of my questions there.
Okay. Sure. I have considered taking it. I'll answer that one first. I have considered taking it online. It's not, again, where my passion lies. My passion lies in interaction. My whole goal with my classes is to introduce someone to themselves again and find their authentic voice as an artist. But I say intuitive painting with confidence, because I also teach art tools and practices, theory, exercises for the imagination, to open up that imagination, to get people back in touch with their authentic voice and what they have to say. So it's not a come and learn to paint like me experience. I get the fact that people are coming to paint with me. I do get that, and I want that. I want that connection with people, but I want them to be coming to learn to paint as themselves, is the sincere goal with my workshops. So that doesn't quite mesh with online workshops right now, but I do demonstrations. I do demonstrations online on my Instagram where I paint live, and that really connects with people as well. It's amazing when you discover and really listen to people, the questions that they ask and the things that interest them. They're just so hungry for the artist experience. They want to understand what you were thinking. They want to understand how you did what you did. And through those, through the videos, I have that connection. And I don't, at this time anyway, want to monetize that, because it's something that helps me connect with all different kinds of people in different ways. And I think if I monetize that, it's going to cut off a big portion of that for me. So it took me, I will say it took me a good 3 years to work up the guts to teach. I had taught as a younger artist in boys and girls clubs in San Francisco when I was in art school. So I had the experience, and I remembered that and loved it, but I hadn't really worked with adults. And my biggest voice in the back of my head that whole time while I was contemplating it was, you don't have enough to say. And when I started listening to people and paying attention to the questions that people were asking me online, I realized I actually have a lot to share. And my first experience with teaching and hearing those incoming questions and the passion for learning is what drives me, and what gave me the confidence that, yes, I do have something to say. I have something to share, and it is of value to artists that are trying to find their own way.
It's so, I mean, it's like public speaking and all those fears personified into one little thing. Now,
Yes.
you mentioned something there. One, I want to push back on you because I don't think it's binary. I think you can do both, i.e., have that authentic you out there, putting yourself out there, connecting, getting that feedback, and then two, having it lead to something that's monetized. But how are you doing those live? Are you actually going live on Instagram, so it's in real time when you do that?
I have gone live in the past. I have a little bit of issue with that because the way I do so much contemplation and stepping towards my easel and stepping back to contemplate, that doesn't work really well. So I do it sometimes in short spurts, or to describe a painting or describe a process that I just went through. But mostly with the videos, I record them and then I edit them in InShot, and I put them back together with the finish. I found out I used to post just the painting process without the finished piece, and people were very frustrated with me.
Oh, yes.
Another thing about me is I tend to paint overnight. So now people would wake up in the morning and see, what did you paint last night? So that's kind of the thing that I have going on right now with my videos.
So
people want to see what comes out of it.
You're a night owl then.
Absolutely.
Yeah, got it. This is such a loaded question by me, because I've been banging the drum for like since COVID about the absolute power of what we're doing right now, which is this broadcast is live, right? There's, as of this current moment, there's like 50, 60 people watching this, and I'm seeing some of the comments coming in, they're saying this and that. Are you familiar with like the term busking?
Yes.
Right. So what does a busker do? Right. And this is like the greatest takeaway of why the live is so powerful. I love making the analogies and taking it out. What does a busker do? A busker goes to some sort of a busy place, a city center, a busy street corner, in front of a museum, wherever it is, right? They don't know who's going to be there. They just know that there's going to be people there, right? And what do? They set up, and let's just keep it in musical context. They start playing their music, right? And they're playing their music that whole time regardless. And what ends up happening is the serendipity of life. Some people just walk by and they just kind of tilt their head and they look at it and they see who that person is visually and they hear the music and they're pleased, but they got to go on about their life because they're busy. Some people stop for a minute and they check it out and they nod their head to the music, and that's really cool. And then they've got to go about their life and then they leave. Some people will stay for a song or 2 or 3 and be like, wow, that's really cool. I got to come back. Some people will stay for the entire set and then go put some money in the guitar case and maybe buy a CD. Do they still do CDs? I don't know. Anyway, that's the analogy of how powerful the live broadcast is. Okay. The busker has to go to some shopping mall or busy city center or some landmark, right? In today's day and age, Instagram is the busiest city center in the history of the world.
Yes.
Okay. You show up, you turn that camera on, and you start doing your thing. And then you just wait for the serendipity of what happens as a result of that. And it's so incredibly powerful, the extra juice that you get out of doing that and having that experience, even just what's happening right now. Like all, you know, I'm an AI super freak, so I figure out how to get all of the stats out and I look at everything. And it's like, I'll do these live broadcasts and I'll get anywhere from like 350 to 550 unique people that tune into that broadcast during the course of that time, in that busker analogy, right? Some people go cruising by really, really quickly. Some people hang for a little bit. So I strongly, strongly encourage you to go back to live for a number of different reasons. One, editing after the fact, ain't nobody got time for that. Okay. You don't have time for that. Two, there's a camera that I'm going to send you a link to that is inexpensive. It's like $300 and it has very good AI tracking. Okay. So what it does is it will just follow you around. Okay. I have it. I could turn it on right now just to show you, and I will show you just to punctuate it. I'll turn on the AI tracking, and it's like, if I move over here, right? And it will do that. It will do that for you. And I'm sure that just broke my green screen a little bit, but it will do that for you the whole time. Okay. The whole time you're doing your thing. If you're going up to the canvas and you're popping back and you're doing this, and it's a very good, I forget what the name of the microphone is. I should know this anyway. It would pick up all of the audio, and it would just be the serendipity of getting that extra ROI of you're doing it already. Just do the busking. And let me tell you, artists are not usually night owls. Said no one ever. You would be surprised, even if it's like 10 or 11 o'clock at night, just how many people would end up joining that, right?
Yeah.
And I'm literally going to force this upon you, okay? Because I'm so passionate about this. I'm going to list all the technology, the software. And do you have a laptop or do you have a desktop? Both. So you would just use the laptop with the camera right there, and you know, on like a stool or whatever, and you could walk right up to it and read some of the comments, you know, and add that into your juice, reply to a couple of them, walk up. I already know your personality. You would kill it. You would absolutely kill it. So I don't think it's binary. To circle back off that tangent, I don't think it's binary. I think you could do both. Like, you know, I spent 10 years at this company, right? And I've seen artists of all stripes and all imaginations at all stages of their career. And the one thing that fries me out harder than anyone else as a result of that experience is when someone like you has what we call in like the tech world product market fit. Said another way, demand. People want what you have. And then you're just not reaching a big enough audience with it, which I want you to do. And the reason that you have to do it is that you owe it to everyone else that is struggling like hell to find it.
Yeah.
You know, it's so hard. It's so hard to find a niche, to have the self-confidence, to be able to generate the volume of sales that you did, to put those butts in the worksheet, in the workshops. You owe it to all those other artists to maximize what you have. And I think you have tremendous potential to do so. So I'm gonna hammer you with the lives. And then I also think like everyone, but especially artists, tend to overthink everything. Don't overthink it. I will have the tech team put the item in your shop, a Zoom session where you teach, charge $10 for it just to see whether or not you can get validation, and do 2 hours.
Okay.
See what happens.
I'm up for that challenge.
That's it. You can use my Zoom account. Okay. I will give you my Zoom account, which can hold up the plenty. I think it holds up to like 1,000. So you could have 1,000 people in there doing the Q&A, doing the whole thing, and just doing one of your sessions and just see, you know, like that could be done. One email to your list, scheduling the event in Zoom, throwing it in your store, put it for $5. I don't care. Just go and see whether or not it's something that people would really like. Because, you know, the other takeaway I had is like, it's sort of like when you go to like, what are the Sur La Table or whatever the other one is, where you like book one of those like cooking experiences, you
Oh
know,
yeah.
where you go with a bunch of friends and you have a couple glasses of wine and there's a chef there that teaches you how to cook. Like, yeah, technically you're there to learn the cooking, right? But you're also there technically to have a glass of wine or two, and technically to have kind of like a nice experience. And the takeaway that I had from how you structure your classes, it's like, it's not just about the art part.
No,
You've got more of an experience going on. And
absolutely.
did you arrive at that right away, that vibe, or was that like through iterations?
Well, I've taken workshops myself. I've been
Mhm,
inspired by other teachers that are doing it out there in live workshop scenarios.
mhm.
And I kind of took a lot of that to heart and as my inspiration when I first started. So I go ahead with the next one. I don't know how to speak to that for sure right now.
Yeah, you're still shy about it, but I think you guys got to give her a follow on Instagram and see like her entire vibe, because she just comes off as so authentic and it's so uniquely different, right? And you know, I get so excited when there's multiple revenue pillars, you know.
Yes.
And in your business, I'm hearing the cards, a big one. We got our prints, the big one, the originals. You're in galleries, which is what I want to get to next. But then you've also got the teaching, right? Like,
Yeah.
where is it written that because you have this creative talent that like you have to be pigeonholed in to be just this or just that? And I feel like artists do that to themselves all the time. It's like, no, like that creative talent could go so many different directions. How can we monetize it? And how can we make it so you can feed your family? Like, it's not any more difficult than that.
No, and when I first started out, I was absolutely of the mindset that let me just get my artwork out there, get a response,
Mhm.
start seeing what people feel when they see it, etc., and get my voice out there. I'm sorry, I'm getting a little nervous, so
Oh, don't
talking
be,
about
don't
some
be.
of this stuff.
No, it's great. It's great, and the fact that you're nervous and authentic is important, because let me tell you, everyone that's watching this is nervous too. Like
Yeah.
it's a really hard thing to do. Well, let's pivot to the gallery thing. So
Okay.
I noticed on your website you're in several different galleries. So one, I want to hear how that came about. Did they find you? Did you find them? How did that transpire? And then secondarily, how are you navigating both being in galleries and then being able to sell directly on your website? Everybody always asks, like, how do I do that? Like, if I'm in a gallery and I want to start selling on, like, it, you know, everyone is curious about that.
Yeah, well, one thing I don't do is I don't sell originals online at this time. I used to do that,
Mhm,
but when I went into a gallery, I decided that this was the route that I wanted to go.
mhm,
I started the first gallery that I went into is actually the gallery that I'm in now. I tried some others in the meantime, but
mhm.
fortunately, the gallery that I am now have a submission policy online on their website. So I simply went and I submitted my art. I
Mhm.
got a good response. Someone gave me a chance there.
Okay.
Tried a few of my early pieces, very early pieces. I wasn't ready yet. I didn't know all the rules. I didn't understand how to play the game necessarily.
Mhm.
So it didn't go all that well at first. But I tried, then I took a step backwards and I went into arts organizations galleries.
Okay.
So collaborative galleries
Mhm.
to get the experience and understand the difference between selling at a gallery and selling yourself online. I don't sell originals online for two reasons, because it would be a conflict with the
Mhm.
gallery
Mhm.
right now. With my relationship with them, I don't want to impede that right now. And I'm getting good traction. I'm getting good sales.
Mhm.
I have struggled keeping them loaded with inventory at this time. So it's working for me as it is. But I tried some different galleries as well in between and learned more and more and more. And then I went back to that gallery because it's more of a higher end gallery and it's my goal gallery
Mhm.
all along as far as local galleries go. And I just discussed with her, I had had some experience at another gallery in Tubac, and it was a learning experience. I went back to the gallery, shared that experience, told her what I was looking for, and we said, let's give it another shot. And it's been great since. So, but not selling originals online, but I do sell them through Instagram, through showing my work.
Mhm.
So I have to know and I have to track and understand where my leads are coming from. So I always ask someone first, where did you first see my art? Because
Mhm.
perhaps they did see it at a gallery. at the gallery, and then they came through Instagram to eventually find me. I honor that relationship with the gallery. Yes, it's a challenge financially, yes, but I am in that part in my career right now, especially with my style change a couple of years ago, kind of had to start over there, that this is what I want to do, and I want to get my work out there this way, because I was finding a lot of positive reaction to my work online. Yes, no problem there. But I wasn't getting the sales because I wasn't finding my audience that had the money to purchase.
Got it. Yeah. It's always a sticky road, but you know, I'm obsessed with like the rule of thirds. Okay. And I just visually, I think it's so impressive. And it's like, I look at your site and you've got bestsellers, fine art prints, painting workshops, right? You've got your big three here, and your bestsellers just links. Oh no, the bestsellers is there, but you have originals, I should say. That's what I meant to say in the rule of thirds. Look, very neat, very clean. Here's the galleries. Go ahead and call them, you know, or you can come see me in person, in which I imagine you would potentially do the split, not do the split. And then you've got all of your prints, and then you've got all of your painting workshops. It's just like nice and clean and delineated and just very, very simple to understand. So I really like that aspect of it. If somebody is new, or just getting started, or earlier in their career, and they're contemplating navigating that entire gallery landscape, what advice would you have for someone at that stage?
Well, first of all, everything goes back to the art. That was one thing early on. I went into galleries a little bit too early. I wasn't quite ready with my art yet. Because everything goes back to the art, you have to find your voice. Spend time painting first. That is always going to be my biggest piece of advice, because that's what I had to do. I had to go back. I had to get into my own head, into my own space, into my own flow, and find what spoke to me that was going to keep me passionate and keep me interested in doing this for the rest of my career. And once you take that time, because I hear so many artists struggle with, I can't find a style. I don't have my style. You have to paint to find your style. No one is going to give that to you. You can go to all the workshops you want, but unless you're going to go back to your studio or your space and create and listen to your own voice and learn how to get in touch with that, you're not going to necessarily have a viable product that's going to be long-term. So that is my first piece of advice. Second piece of advice is go out there and find your own opportunities. From a kid, when I first started working when I was 14, it was a matter of looking in the phone book and finding the companies that I wanted to work at, calling them, finding out what would it take to get there to your business. It's that same concept that I've applied to my artistic career, in that way that I decide where I would want my art. I make a vision of that in my brain, and then I find out what I need to do to get there. And with galleries, look at their websites, find out if they have any online submissions. A lot of galleries still do. You may not hear back. You have to build your ego to the point that you can take rejection. That's another very important step in finding the right gallery. It is. It's hard, but you can get there. And I think that, again, goes back to the product, to painting. Knowing that you have something to say, feeling confident in what you're putting on the canvas, and knowing that there are people out there that are going to connect with it. And the last thing I'll say there is definitely being authentic, finding your own voice, not going out there and trying to put on a show. I let a little bit of personal stuff come in on my Instagram and in my Facebook, because I find that people connect with that. The struggles of an artist are real. And the internal struggle, the mental struggle, all of that. And I like to share that with people so that they don't feel alone in that process.
I love that. And you need to do more of it.
Yeah.
Like, you're getting me in all my hot button topics, but art sales are 50-50. It's 50% of meritocracy in the art, and it's 50% who is the artist, what do I have in common with them, do I bond with them, and is it someone I want to do business with? And I think too many artists online, and you're sort of going against this trend, at least as it pertains to Instagram, because I look at your Instagram, right? And we should pull it up. And I promise I'm not lighting you up. A little bit I'm lighting you up, but like I think the prompt that I give to people is like, what is something that I can post this week that has absolutely nothing to do with my art or my identity as an artist, right?
Mm-hmm.
Something that is just completely different. And it can be anything about anything that you do, right? Like, you know, like, okay, you like going to the little music festivals and whatever they are in town, right? And you're hanging out with your pals and you're doing, okay, great. That has nothing to do with the fact that you're an artist. Okay. It has the fact to do with what you like. You've got this one where you're dressed up in the pink band leader outfit, right?
Yeah.
Perfect.
That was a very important post, actually, because everyone knew that I was going through some struggles with caring for a family member. And that was my struggle and my desire to go back to my inner child. Years ago, I did a internal work that I visualized my inner child. And this brought it to life. It was a really great experience because I was feeling out of touch with myself, and just putting a vision to that child within that has something to say without any filters and bringing it to life. That was a very powerful post, and it connected with a lot of people on the different platforms.
100%.
Silly, yes. But I'm putting myself out there and I'm being myself. I am a little bit weird. I am a little bit silly, and I enjoy funny things.
We all are. That's
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. We're all a little weird, and those weirdnesses is where you connect with people, I think.
100%. And it's like, it gets to the heart of the matter, which is, you know, I could argue 9 ways to Sunday from being a long-time digital marketer and understanding the way algorithms work and how you get engagement, when you get engagement, what changes, and how important it is to have different types of posts because they go after different types of audiences, right? So I don't post about your art all the time, but I don't even need to make that argument because we can table that argument. People do business with people they like. People get connected to people they like. If you're not giving a window in who you are aside from an artist, how are they going to make that connection? How are they ever going to know? Right. And that's the thing that's so hard because, one, I should say, I hate social media. I'm a social media marketing expert. I hate it. I don't post anything ever. I don't even ever go on it. Okay.
Really?
But yeah. So my point is, trust me, I know. Okay. I know. I know that why photographers like to hide behind the lens. I know why artists like to hide behind the canvas, right? And not share any of that stuff. But the reality is that, and I say the same line, like, I'm not saying to people that you have to become a Kardashian and your life is like a reality TV show where you're followed around all over the place. But give us a little window now and again. And something else that makes you tick. Because every single solitary time you're offering up this part of your life that, guess what? It turns out a lot of other people online do that same thing too. And all of a sudden they're bonded with you. And it's like, that charges up your engagement and that earns you the right to share the art. Don't just share the art all the time. So I get just super, super fired up about that. Yeah. In this whole journey, how did you find us, out of curiosity?
Just through research, actually, and ads. I was considering what I wanted to do in the online aspects of my work, and I wanted a platform that was robust enough to facilitate my growth and scale up with me. That was one thing that was most important. When I first started with my site, I didn't use all the capabilities. I still don't yet today, but I know I'm growing into them. I know that they are there. And the fact that they're there inspire me to learn that side of the marketing and the sales approach.
Awesome. Absolutely amazing. And we were talking a little bit offline because she's, you know, she was writing web pages in HTML. She's clearly got a techie side to her, right? And so I was asking her about her AI use. Anyone who listens to this show knows I'm like an AI super freak. I'm very, very encouraged by its potential broadly, but very specifically for artists as well, right? Do you just explain your usage? And I know we talked a little bit about Art Helper, and that's great, but are you using it on the side, ChatGPT or any of the other ones, to do research or to ask questions or to help you think about things or anything like that?
Yes, I do. I use ChatGPT and GPT, sorry. But
dumbest name by the way ever, by the way. GPT is it's like, it's so hard to say. Like they could have, yeah. Anyway.
But I will use it for research, for personal research. I most recently actually used it for my workshops, in that I use it to summarize all my different thoughts into some summary pieces that I could hand out in the workshop for takeaways. I don't post those online because I want people to come to the workshop to get that information.
Yeah.
But I find value in it. I struggle a little bit with descriptions of art. It is amazing. I have a painting with a moon on it with little freckles. GPT caught those freckles and described the painting to a T, but the soul wasn't there.
Yeah.
My reason for painting it, my desire to paint it, and my desire to share it wasn't there. So I always go back in and I re-edit and add my own voice and flavor to any descriptions I do see.
100%. And what you just said is like one of my favorite use cases of the whole thing. It's like, is it easier to start with something on the page or with a blank page? I don't know about you, but for me, it's easier to edit something than to come up with it out of thin air, right?
Yes.
And it's like that's the beautiful thing. And it's funny because I was looking, I think, at your Instagram, and you generated one of the little action figures that we all did. Did you guys see this? This was like such a viral thing for a hot minute. Everyone, the prompt got shared, and everyone was going on and creating it. And you got Just Paint on there, and I know you did that with GPT, like all the rest of us did. So I was like, I know a little bit. Anyway, where was I going with all that? Oh, like since COVID. And you probably haven't been with us that long, but since COVID, I've had the opportunity to do like multiple, whether it's Zoom or whether it's live broadcasts or interviews like this. And it's like I've interviewed so many artists at this point, so many different photographers at this point, and the number of those folks out there versus the number of those folks out there that have even one part-time assistant or part-time team member, someone helping them with their marketing. Like if I interview 1,000 artists, it's 2 out of the 1,000 that have an employee of any kind. And that's got to give, right? It's got to give, because it's too hard to wear all the hats all the time and be good at all the things all the time. It's impossible. No one can do it, and no one wants to do it. And I look at the promise of AI, being that employee that can just help you out in a couple of these areas that you just don't want to do the work, or it's not the best use of your time, or you just absolutely hate doing it, like more so than any other thing in the history of mankind, right? And then it never gets done. And I'm excited about it. I mean, like in the artist segment especially, I feel like it is one of the greatest levelers ever, because those employees were not going to happen. It's like the greatest, like, which came first ever. I'll hire that employee as long as I sell enough art, but I can't sell enough art until I hire the employee, right?
Absolutely.
It's so hard. And I'm like thinking about you. I was like, oh man, she needs one. She needs one on the assembly line. She needs one telling her what Instagram comments are in these upcoming live broadcasts, right? And
you're right about that.
Yeah,
I did get an assistant for workshops. That is very helpful.
Hugely helpful. Yeah, and you need it. One cool thing that I made for you, and you don't even have to do anything. I'm just going to put it in your art helper for you. But I developed this product. It grabs as much information about you as possible. So I did this this morning for you. It grabs your. I maybe should even show it off. Let me see if I can get it on the screen. It might take a second, and I'll just sort of explain. But bear with me while I got to go find this thing. It basically grabs everything that I can get in a public capacity about you. Okay. Yeah. And it follows, I mean, I've been iterating on this thing like crazy. It follows this structure to create a file that the LLMs read. Okay. And the way that it works is that it's basically, hey, LLM, don't sound soulless. This is what I like to sound like. Right. Yes. And so what it does is it enables the LLM to talk like you, right? So it does these things: core voice, archetype, tone and style, key themes and topics, signature phrases and quotes. Come paint with us. Let the Sonoran Desert art season begin. True story. Remember this: more than enough to reach for your dreams, right? So it understands some of the ways that you communicate. And you give this file to the LLM and you're like, please write this product description of my painting with freckles and the moon in my voice. And what I find is that, like, the quality is anywhere from, and it's situational, but anywhere from a 30 to 40 to 50 to 60 to 70 to 80% increase in the quality and the caliber of the output.
That's incredible.
I'm gonna put this in your art helper today as soon as we got this call. And then when
Okay.
you go back in, watch what happens, and I'll send it to you too, so you can use it on on the side and everything else. But yeah, I just think I think AI can be an employee, and God, you guys need one so bad. All of you need one to help with all of the things that you absolutely hate, right?
I'm dying to get in there. I have been wanting to take full advantage of everything and that Art Storefronts offers, not just as a platform, but as a guide to what we're trying to do. My problem has been, it's great that I'm reaching out to multiple channels. I'm getting my voice out there, but I'm noticing as I go on, I'm refining, I'm bringing back in what brings me the most passion, what makes me the happiest. Because those things are what's going to keep me in this career. They're going to keep me going. They're going to keep me. I mean, I'll always be an artist. I'll always go back to the canvas, but that's what keeps me going in my career and wanting to show my work and wanting to sell my work and share it with others so that they have that happiness in their own home.
The authenticity comes through loud and clear on you. Let me ask you this: two questions to end with.
Yeah.
One, a cynical one. If there's one thing and one thing only that we can improve at Art Storefronts for you, what is it? One thing.
Back end quirks. Yeah.
UI, UX, and the way the database works, I assume.
Yeah, there's just a few little things that I would improve. Being a user experience designer, that I would improve that way. I think make things a little bit more simple, but it doesn't take much because there's a very clear path from point A to point B of what you're trying to do in the back end. It doesn't take a lot once you figure it out. That's the challenge. Sit down, figure it out, read all the content, listen to the support, follow it. Once you do it, then it's so easy.
Yeah. Once you get the hang of it, we need to hire you. We need to hire you for some back end UI, UX, Sega theme upgrades. Guy, I would love that. And then the other thing that I'd love to ask is, like, what would be the advice that you would give to just starting out, Kristin, that you've learned after all these years doing it? What would you tell that young artist these days?
Stay true to yourself. Stay true to your authentic voice. You will get a lot of criticism. You will get a lot of input from various different audiences. From friends will say one thing, a gallery will say another, a potential buyer will say something else. Know yourself. Get to know yourself internally, because that is what you can always go back to. That is your true north. And if you understand that and you can keep in touch with that, I think you can do anything.
Amazing. Can't end in a better place than that. You guys, you can find, anyone that's watching this after the fact, obviously in the show notes will be a link to her Instagram account. Obviously in the show notes will be a link to her website. Ideally, in a perfect world, by the time this thing's published, there will be a link to her upcoming either $5 or $10 Zoom workshop that you can join, or you can see her doing live broadcasts on Instagram as I keep needling her to do that. Otherwise, your Instagram handle, it's pinned in here, but for everyone else, it's Kristin with a K, Kristin, CRE8S. Kristin Creates. You can find her on Instagram. You can find her website in the link tree and all of her things in there. But Kristin, great interview. I think that was going to be inspirational and motivational, and the authenticity absolutely shines through. And thanks so much for taking the time today.
Thank you so much for this opportunity and for all that Art Storefronts provides us artists. It's absolutely amazing, and I'm really happy to be there.
Oh, you're the best. You were very complimentary. We appreciate that. All right. For everyone else, thanks for listening. And as always, have a great day.
Thank you.